This is ESPN's Champ Week, presented by Principal. And welcome to the T. Rowe Price ACC Men's Basketball Tournament. Beautiful night, gorgeous day, wonderful week in Charlotte, North Carolina. And for the second time in 6 days, it's the Cardinal and the Cardinals. 7th-seeded Stanford and 2nd-seeded Louisville.
134 games in college basketball. He's played 134 too.
That's knocked out of bounds off the tip. It will belong to Louisville. The winner of this game, Smith, suffered a left ankle injury against California last week. He's their third leading scorer, 13.5 a game, and their best three-point shooter, and he is still day-to-day, but out tonight. So that means Noah Waterman moves into the starting five. Terrence Edwards Jr., an all-ACC pick, feeds James Scott, whose layup is too strong. And the first possession for the Stanford Cardinal, who rolled out the same five as yesterday. Jalen Blake's a Duke transfer, one of the most improved players in any power conference. Osiah Sellers and Ryan Agarwal, the guards. The freshman Donovan Young and Maxime Reynaud. Here's Reynaud's first touch. 23-8 in the win over Cal last night. And Reynaud airballs a shot with James Scott in his face. Here's Noah Waterman. Looking like Rain Smith, his first touch, and he cans an open three.
It really.
And it is an ugly start. Stanford is 0 for 4, Louisville 1 for 4.
Well, it started with some tough shots from Reynaud, and he's got to set the tone and be patient early.
Hepburn sets up Waterman again. He's got the first 2 threes.
It's just great offensive action. Chucky Hepburn, and he's not reading his offensive player, right? He's reading the roll, but he's looking at who takes the roll guy away. If the backside guy drops down, he's throwing that skip to the open Waterman in the corner.
No
Take
Waterman.
a breath, John. Jeez.
A 27% three-point shooter, and there is Reynaud, who's been.
No, we are.
Sure. They were also picked well below where they finished. They were picked 9th in the league. Hard to know where Louisville's going to finish with an entire new team. And Reynaud on a little slip in from Blakes has the first 4.
Yeah, but good job by Blakes by playing off.
That's the 3rd Louisville turnover. Here's Agarwal in all kinds of trouble. Blakes was the outlet. Sellers ready for a go-ahead 3.
Tell you, anytime you get the ball in that block, you've got to.
Who hit an NBA range late tie-breaking 3.
If you're Stanford, you have to know when Reynaud's off the floor, you've got to be really good defensively. Now that move offensively, that you'll take that too. But when
Edwards driving into the paint. Edwards too strong. Rebound Sellers.
Edwards is going to have mid-range jump shots if he just is patient enough to see it. That's going to be a legal screen.
And it's the 2nd foul on Kamen. So it's a spin there. Maxime Reynaud out of Paris. 7'1" senior, 1,500 career points here at Stanford. Where do you think, not to
feel for it, he's got to learn how to play with physicality, and he's got to learn how to defend, and the NBA does a great job of exposing matchups that they like. So he's
against Cal yesterday. Reynaud flips it off the front of the rim. 9.5 minutes gone by. It's 9-7, and it's now 9-9. That is the James Scott specialty, his 72nd dunk of the year.
Well, look, you can have a roll lob guy, but ultimately to have that guy and to get a lot out of him, you have to have somebody to throw the lob. And Chucky Hepburn just masterful in terms of holding the defense and throwing it up.
Knocked away from Jalen Thompson, who recovers. Redshirt sophomore didn't play yesterday. He's a 1.4 per game scorer.
I think if you're Louisville, you continue to seek out that ball screen and see how they're going to defend against Chucky Hepburn. He makes good decisions out of it.
Edwards on the lob, another throwdown. Only the ACC's 3rd in the country. By the way, he suffered a facial fracture last month, which is why he's wearing the Hannibal Lecter mask. Edwards backs his defender down to give Louisville the lead. Hepburn extends out onto Blakes. Best defender as voted by the ACC media members and coaches in the league. Now Blakes is guarded by Scott, and Blakes floats it over him. Wow. Re-injured his left shoulder. So that will be Must-see TV as it always is between Duke and Carolina tomorrow night. Edwards, end of the shot clock. Desperation heave for a Louisville lead.
You know, I mean, I don't think anyone feels that badly for Duke given the just bevy of options they've got.
Thrown away by the freshman Roots here. Sellers, nice finish.
Good little pace on this game. And I wouldn't say that this pace, this up and down, this fluidity really favors Stanford, but they've been fine with it, partially because I think it's been so hard to get good stuff on the half-court offensive end.
Edwards steps back. Yep, got another.
He's dangerous.
Edwards has Louisville's last 8. 4-point lead, 14 minutes gone by in this third quarterfinal. There's an elevation by Sellers, really smooth athlete. He's got 7. Two teams that usually take care of the ball well. Stanford on pace to set a school record for fewest turnovers a game. Waterman fighting tooth and nail inside. He's got 8.
Really set up by Chucky Hepburn, keeping they could score with people. Just don't think you want to get into a scoring contest with BYU right now.
Sellers, Reynaud back on the floor, and Reynaud gets it to go.
It's the first time we've seen him on bounce.
Hard to do against this Louisville defense, isn't it?
It is.
There's Reynaud. Swing it to Sellers. His three-pointer gives Stanford the lead right back.
And if Reynaud's not a three-point shooter, Sellers doesn't get that shot. Why? Because Reynaud getting that pick and pop, you have to take him away.
Edwards into Keeler. Edwards finishes with a foul. Back and forth we go in this quarterfinal game here in Charlotte. Over at UCLA, dribbling it off his knee in the face of the Stanford tree. Not passing it out of bounds, but dribbling it off your knee.
Nothing like having a 4.8 GPA dressed as a tree make fun of you. Yep.
23-22, the Louisville lead. Not for long. There's Reynaud's first 3 of the game.
I like how they got him involved, lifted the entire defense. You had to retreat back towards the paint, and he can space you to 25.
Waterman airmails it. Just the second offensive rebound of the game for Louisville.
Why did they get that offensive rebound, Kevin?
It was a terrible shot.
Yes.
Hepburn, one-legger, and he ties in his first field goal.
Yeah, I don't know how it was a travel, but
here's Reynaud in the post, left-handed, scores it again.
Again, deliberate, but he was patient on the seal. He was patient by getting his position in the post, but then was deliberate on the catch.
Stanford 6 for its last 7. Waterman into Reynaud. There's a foul. That's a critical one. It's
a good offensive player.
We talked to Kyle Smith before the game, and you asked him.
Seal, then you got a pick and short roll where he can play a little more face-up. He's versatile like that.
Somehow spilled out to Sellers. And he misses a 3. Waterman, who's had a very busy first half, got it.
Let's see who on Louisville is paying attention to the fact that Reynaud's got 2.
Hepburn, he's fouled on the way up. Knocked away.
Waterman was the only one that even scored a basket with the 2 threes to start.
Hepburn had a nice game on senior night against Stanford. Ended with him kissing the Louisville logo on his way off the court. 1 year. Not many guys have made as much of an impact in 1 year as Chucky Hepburn has at Louisville. He's really rediscovered a lot of joy playing basketball. He had a great career at Wisconsin, but this has been a new level for him. There's a 3 for Agarwal, and the red shirt sub
off the floor with the 2 fouls.
Yeah, the Louisville timeout actually helped Stanford in that respect. They bring on Kamen, who does have 2. Edwards drives into him, slithers around him, and scores it. So now Stanford could you dream of. If you're on that lower level, it's all you want to do. If you're at Northwestern, you know the history of the school.
Great find.
Wow, it's Akpara. Got a great look. Was Agarwal on the drive, and Stanford reclaims the lead. Edwards, dying moments of the first half. Traore passes away from Reynaud, and Hadley misses a 3.
Wow.
Well, how about this? Just 5 days ago, Stanford.
Scenario, everybody comes in with some degree of hope. Whether you can maintain hope or not, that's up to how you play on the floor.
And Louisville, it's amazing. First time trailing an ACC opponent at halftime this season. 18-2, and they didn't trail at the half in either of the losses. They're down 6 now. It's been a really nice night. Away with a dozen for Louisville. Noah Waterman had 9. And here's Chucky. He's got 5 and he's got 4 assists. Maybe another.
Yep.
Yes, indeed. They've started both halves with a Waterman 3.
Just falling asleep on.
Here's Sellers off the roll from Reynaud. He's in the post against Edwards. And now he's back against Scott as Sellers dribbled right into him. Reynaud is fouled and scores it.
All right, maybe that's why you do it. I don't
remember Louisville's playing without Rain Smith. He's still day-to-day with a left ankle injury. Tournament. Listen at SMU to follow on E2. A rejection finds its way into the hands of.
I can't keep up with you.
We'll figure it out. I'll be me. You'll catch up.
Points.
Reynaud, another hesitant pump fake, and the ball finds its way to Kamen. A happy accident for Traore. Hadley. Edwards thought about it. Edwards drives it. Edwards scores it. He's got 14.
Yeah, that's tough. I thought he traveled out top. Well, we let him.
Life here in the building in Charlotte. Here's Akpara with a hard drive into Waterman. He draws the foul.
You said the whistles were going to pick up. We didn't have a ton of them in the first.
It is an exceptional free throw shooting team. 7 get to the line. And these are just the second and third free throws of the game for them. No Reynaud on the floor, no Scott on the floor. The 2 bigs with 3 fouls. Akpara. Here's a 3 for Ryan Agarwal, and it bounces into the bottom of the cup. Reynaud unleashes a mighty roar on the Stanford bench, and the 7 seed has its largest lead. Edwards throws it away. Here's Sellers on the break. Oh, he missed the slam, and there's a whistle and a foul. And Reynaud's the first. French. I'm not a good lip reader in any language, so I'll have to rely on somebody. Anyway, without Reynaud, Stanford's up by 11. Ozias Sellers has 15.
Get an open 3. He's been good on the glass. Just made a 3 a couple possessions ago.
Remember, Louisville has won 9 in a row and 19 of 20. Step back, Blakes. Got it. It's a long 2. And Stanford's now outscored it.
They're also just growing this lead and stealing minutes. With Reynaud on the bench, get another one.
Sellers! That is a tough drive by Ozias Sellers. And Pat Kelsey tournament, and Louisville is down 15. An 18-2 year in the league. Terrence Edwards Jr. will drive it into Kamen and finish through the foul. And Louisville far from done. Their crowd middle. So he sat for 3:22. And during the time he,
as we head towards the 10-minute stretch.
Edwards, oh boy. It's a basket, but more significantly, it's the 4th foul on Reynaud.
Picks up his 4th, which is entirely on him. Now, don't get me wrong, they did pretty well when Reynaud was off the floor.
Yeah, they were +7 in that span. They're going to have to do well again. Edwards, 2 bad free throw misses, and the lead is still 11. Here's Chisholm Akpara trying to get around Noah Waterman. Oh, wow! Where did that come from? A blind bank by the Harvard transfer Akpara.
I actually heard it hit the backboard. It was a violent bank.
Lead back to 13. 13 to go. Hepburn speeding into the lane. Hepburn for 3. He finally got one to go.
Everything was good there for Stanford. There was a good scramble, but just one breakdown in communication. They lost sight of Chucky Hepburn, who ended up getting the open 3 in the corner.
Knocked by Scott back into Kamen's hands. Sellers, open look. Another Osiah Sellers bomb. He's got 20 on 4 threes. Edwards, meanwhile, with a smooth crossover and score.
This game is really picking up, both sides.
Years, and then when you bring in a new guy or two, you know, the Jaden Zachary's, Miles Fosters, and Victor Lockins of the world, you really know those guys are here for a one-year trip, and you want to give everything you can to help those guys be the best they can be and have a great experience.
Wow. I mean, when the best player in Maxime Reynaud is on the bench because of some nonsense call, that's crazy.
Hepburn,
Big
one.
Big.
And there's Scott dancing around Hadley for the rebound. Hadley, oh, he had Edwards on the wing, but he has himself in the paint. Timeout, Stanford. 9 in a row for Louisville.
Physicality since Reynaud went out. He's got to be patient. He just got to make.
He's got to be careful with that. Blake's foul's going to go against Louisville. I'm telling you what, if Maxime Reynaud had picked,
go leaning left and right.
now at the same,
Without foul.
Reynaud misses both free throws.
2.
He wants to. Blake's got low to disrupt the dribble.
Oh, give it back to Edwards. Give it back to Edwards.
He's got the matchup. Hepburn instead. He's got the matchup too.
What do I know, Kev?
Sometimes a bit. Stanford had a 15-point lead. That was about 5.5 points for the Louisville Cardinals. Went into the semifinals. Hepburn's all over Blake's here. Reynaud trying to set another screen. Staring down the ferocious Scott. Rainbow 3! A skyscraper! A Reynaud rainbow, and it's a 2-possession lead again. And now Scott finishes over him because there's really not much that Reynaud can first double-digit deficit in the last 20 games. They can erase it here. Hepburn rolling. Hepburn! Big man!
Chucky Hepburn. Such a smart player, right? You attack Reynaud, he doesn't really commit or half commits. You throw the lob over the top again, putting Reynaud in a situation where he's got to be careful not to foul.
No silence on these slams. Louisville, presented by Lowe's at 7 Eastern, 1 hour later. The women's selection special, presented by Capital One. You need to at least make the final, maybe win it all, and then North Carolina to Edwards. Edwards backing down Sellers. Okpara comes to double. Where's the open man? He's not going to find him. He's going to get fouled and get to the line for a 1. Edwards, a 79% free throw shooter. Hits his first senior. Won an NCAA tournament game at James Madison a year ago. In fact, JMU.
I think now you've got a tired Stanford defense. You've got to attack Maxime Reynaud at some point.
He tried to reach in there, and that's not going to be on Reynaud, but it is a Stanford foul. Edwards going to the line for owned the second half. And Louisville has taken it. By the way, we do see this kind of thing happen sometimes. The team that Sellers and Reynaud. Okpara trying to go one-on-one. Keeler, a quick one. From the corner. Wow. A Stanford lead.
Wow, the quick release. He caught that thing high and got it off very quickly. Shot it with great confidence.
The second-year scholarship man who played his first year as a Stanford walk-on. And he just committed a foul. But Benny Keeler has hit go-ahead 3 D1 offers, but can you blame him? He wanted to go to Stanford.
All spots, but man, this is picked up.
It's really been, for the most part, in 11 years. Louisville be its first trip to a conference tourney semi in 11 years. Those were different leagues. Neither has made it to the ACC Final Four, and Louisville's now a step closer. Chucky Hepburn put it. 2 best players, and Reynaud will drive it, floats it short. Boy, it looked like he pulled up wanting to avoid his 5th foul.
Sure did.
Hepburn, Hadley! Chucky Hepburn, magician. A Cal fan, you love it. If you're a neutral, you hate that happened. And it was the right call. But that could be the end of Reynaud's college career. Into Waterman. He's blocked by Cannon, but Scott is there. Sellers inside. Agarwal missed it. Waterman's got it.
I mean, how about just the level of intensity? You want to talk about leveling up. This Louisville team did just that. Offensive end, yes, leveled up. Defensive end, physicality, they've done it all. What'd you call it, a super run?
A super run, yep. 2 field goals for Stanford in the last 10 minutes, 20 seconds. Hepburn. There's a foul.
Hepburn doing that, picking the defense apart.
4th foul against Jalen Blake's Chucky Hepburn. Not 7th in this league, but 17th. Ahead of only Boston College. And if not for the big 3 in the league, Kyle Smith would get a lot more credit for the coaching job he did. But Stanford's season is really in the balance now. Could go to the NIT, certainly, but their NCAA tournament hopes are a minute 35 away from going up in smoke. And they needed that one from Agarwal. He cuts it to 5.
Agarwal's had a really good game, but you're just starting to see the defensive pressure from Louisville, the physicality, the toughness. Took them a little while to wake up, which, look, they just got here. This is the first game of the tournament for Louisville.
Hepburn setting a deliberate tempo. Step back 3. In and out. Agarwal, Stanford down 2 possessions into the final minute. Do they have some Cardinal magic? That's going to help as Sellers draws a foul, which will turn into a 1-and-1. Only went 18-2 in ACC play.
And the matchup that you didn't know you needed to watch. Matt Cross, replaceable in terms of value on their teams.
Sellers a 90% shot left to bring, but they have to get a stop. Here's Hepburn, and it's intercepted by Okpara. Driving it into Waterman, step and the foul! Chisholm Okpara! He had that dagger.
Johnny, first off, great job getting all those facial expressions, man. We're all feeling it down here, and I think that's ultimately what this is right now. This has gotten really intense. Now we got a tie ball game, partner. This is wild. Maxime Reynaud on the top and chase the play against the guy who really understands how to manipulate the ball screen.
And here is the best point guard in the ACC. He does not have Rain Smith.
They're going to take it out of his hands.
They're going to try to flash with a double. Hepburn, Edwards. Stanford without Reynaud. He's fouled out. All he can do is stand and watch. Chucky Hepburn, first team All-ACCer. Out for Edwards. 5 to shoot. 5 in the game. Edwards, no foul. Missed it. Rebound, Okpara. Oh, Hepburn! No! He hit it! No! He hit it! Chucky Hepburn, a career filled with big shots and thrilling moments, finds a new peak in the ACC tournament. At the end of the day, it was all child's play for Chucky. Louisville has advanced to the ACC semis and driven a stake through Stanford's heart.
Oh, they tried to tried to outlet that pass. Kind of gets tipped away, and it ends up right in the hands. What an outlet to Chucky Hepburn. He got it off, plain as day. I mean, you can't script this stuff. I mean, Okpara probably gets, I don't know, air quote fouled. trying to just get that thing out, and it goes